everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Houston Zoo's Facebook Live, and you're joining me today, Haley, in the meerkat yard with one of my favorite animals, our slender-tailed meerkats. So here today in our meerkat yard, we have our meerkat mob. You might also hear some clicking in the background. That is our other keeper, Priscilla, giving the meerkats some bugs. That's their recall. It means when they hear it, they know that they're going to get food. So our meerkat mob here, we have 6 meerkats. We have 3 boys and 3 girls. So our boys were born here on August 5th in 2010, right here at the Houston Zoo. They were the last meerkat pups who were born here. So they are going to be 10 this year. They're currently 9 years old. And then we just got our girls around Thanksgiving time. They come from Sedgwick County Zoo. We have Kit, Dottie, and May. So we're also putting down some enrichment, which are items that help meerkats and other animals do kind of foraging activities or other activities that they would do out in the wild. So in that log you kind of see there's hidden bugs. Meerkats are known to dig. It's what they're built to do. From head to toe, meerkats are built for that digging. They have long nails that can reach up to 2 centimeters, and they use that to kind of like a toothpick to help grab any bugs. And also when they put their nails together, it acts like a shovel to help move dirt. Their heads and ears are also built for digging too, so their ears have a special adaptation that allows them to close when they're digging so they don't get any of that dust or dirt in their ears. Their eyes also have a secondary eyelid called a nictitating membrane that allows them to blink without having to close their eyes and make themselves vulnerable to predators. And also it helps to protect them from some insects that they might face, like some millipedes that could have chemical defenses and spray a meerkat in the eye to help to protect them from that. So meerkat has a pretty wide head and a long nose. Their heads are wide so that their eyes are kind of both on the side and up and down. That way they're able to look for food and hunt, and also view for predators. Their noses are nice and long so that way they can smell insects and detect insects underground. They can detect insects up to 5 feet underground. So these guys are one of my favorites. They also have that kind of short fur that you can see on top of their heads and shoulders, and that's for digging as well. That way they can shake off some of that dirt. And you might notice their narrow shoulders and their wide hips. So Emma asked, what is their diet? So that's a really good question, Emma. Their diet right now, they're getting their bugs for the day. We give them bugs daily. It's either crickets or mealworms. They also receive some meat, some special kibble that they get, and then they receive 2 types of fruits and 2 types of vegetables. They also get lettuce, which is one of Gambino, one of our male meerkat favorite treats. So Morris asked, how long do they sleep? So meerkats are generally awake from dawn until dusk, so they're out when the sun's out. So it also kind of depends on the weather, how long they're going to sleep. They have a meerkat that comes out of the burrow that's kind of like the little weather meerkat, and he goes and checks to see if it's sunny, and if it is sunny, they'll go outside and they'll start to warm their bellies in the morning. And if it's still dark and cold, then he'll go back inside and everyone will sleep in a little bit longer. So during the winter, they tend to sleep more. During the summer, they're awake more often. So Abby asked, are they in danger? That's a really good question. They are not in danger. They are at least concerned, but their populations are still diminishing because of human interactions. So one thing that's really important for meerkats are their burrows. Sometimes their burrows are kind of passed down to them from their moms and past moms. We don't know how long they've had some of their burrows, and they can be crushed by livestock. So as farmers kind of move into their habitats, they can have their tunnels and burrows in their homes crushed. So they're kind of having human influences that are causing their populations to decline. So happy birthday to Tristan. Thank you for watching. I'm glad you could be here and learn more about our meerkats. So Donna asked, what are their predators? So these guys, they're pretty small. They're only about a foot tall and they only weigh about 2 pounds. So a lot of things can eat them. Their biggest predators are going to be birds of prey. You can see Dottie over here to my, kind of standing up and looking. She heard a noise, it spooked her. She is looking for predators right now. She is looking for birds of prey. That includes hawks, eagles, and occasionally an owl. They also have predators on the ground, such as jackals, that will come down and eat them. They have different calls for which type of predator is in the area. So meerkats are known for their sentry duty. So Capone is kind of doing an example of sentry right now. While all the other meerkats are foraging and eating, Capone is doing his lookout, his sentry duty. If he thinks a predator is in the area, he will make a barking call depending on how much of a threat the predator is and also what type of predator it is. So Drew asked, what is their lifespan? So in the wild, it is about 4 to 10 years. Here in human care, their lifespan can go up to 15 years. And that's because they don't have to deal with a lot of things like predators. Their biggest predator at the Houston Zoo are airplanes, but we have yet to have an airplane come down and eat one of our meerkats. But don't worry, they let us know whenever there's an airplane around. So Victoria asked, how fast can they run? So meerkats do have to get away pretty quick. So meerkats can run up to 30 miles per hour. And what they do, and what Dottie's kind of doing a great example of, is they stay near their bolt holes. Bolt holes are found all throughout their territory, and that's where they go to run and hide. So they can run up to 30 miles per hour into their bolt holes. So Jenny asked, can they swim? So I'm not 100% sure on that. I know that they can get out of water if they were to fall in, but meerkats don't like to get wet. Their fur is made for kind of the desert habitat and that sand and dry area. So when they get wet or when they get mud on them, it kind of sticks to them, kind of like wearing wet clothes a lot when it rains and pours out. So they don't like that feeling, and they can also get sick if their fur gets too wet for too long. So they tend to stay away from rain and water. They also get most of the water that they need from the food that they eat, but they will drink water from any opportunity that they can find. So meerkats are a mob, that's what they're called, or a gang, which is why we have Johnny Tightlips, Gambino, and Capone. And Ann asked, what is their favorite enrichment? Anything that involves bugs, pretty much. Anything that makes them look for bugs. So like this, they're very engaged in, and they love to have. They also enjoy it when we give them smells from some of our other animals. So in a meerkat mob, there's an alpha male and an alpha female. And the alpha female is the one who is in charge. She's the one who makes all the rules. So when they get up in the morning, she will make a kind of loud, long humming noise and choose the direction that they go to forage for food. So enrichment is something that we give to our animals that kind of helps them do their natural behaviors. Since we know that meerkats love to dig, we like to give them enrichment where they have to reach their hands into forage and look around for food. It's something that they would do in their natural habitat, and it's much more fun and kind of engaging for them rather than us just constantly giving them their bugs every day on a tray or anything like that. So in our meerkat mob, we are not sure who our alpha female is or our alpha. These guys were just introduced over Thanksgiving, but our introductions went really well and everyone gets along very well. These guys can live in groups of up to 3 to 50. So they are found in large groups, and that's kind of a safety in numbers type thing. Since they are small, they tend to like to stay in larger groups. That way they have more meerkats to do sentry, and also they appear larger when they're all together. So Caitlin asked, why do they stand up? That's a really great question. They stand up because that's how they're able to see, and it's also how they can dig too. It's what they're doing on alert. So our meerkats can climb, any meerkats can climb up to 25 feet. They're pretty small, and that's why they have to stand up to make sure that they can do sentry duty. That's why they have more narrow hips and more wider shoulders. It helps to balance their body so that they can stand up. Lauren asked, how many babies can they have? So I believe they can have up to 6, but on average they have 3 to 4 pups in a litter, and they have 3 to 4 litters a year. And that's only the alpha female who has the litters. She and the alpha male are the only breeding pair in the mob. So as I mentioned before about their narrow shoulders and their wider hips, it's how they're able to stand and dig. They also have larger back feet than they do front feet. That's to help them balance as well. And then their tails are not used to balance. their tails are kind of used as a tripod to help take off some of that weight while they're standing or digging. So Ava asked, can they get sunburned? So no, what these guys will do is they have a special fur special skin that's darker on their bellies, and then their fur is also a lot thinner on their bellies as well. So what they do in the morning is they get up and they sit up, and that way they can absorb that light. They like to absorb the heat. They do live in hot conditions, so their feet could get burned because they don't have as much hair on their feet than they do the rest of their body. Nyla asked, are they endangered? These guys are of least concern, but their populations are declining due to human influences like livestock crushing their burrows. So these guys can have territories of 4 kilometers to 12 kilometers, and the largest burrow that they found was 320 feet. And they can also dig about 6 to 7 feet deep. So these guys have really big, extensive burrows that can have 5 to hundreds of different entrances. Jackie asked, are they related to mongoose? That's a really good observation. These guys are related to mongoose. That's their closest relative. And similar to mongoose, they are highly resistant to the neurotoxin of some snakes and scorpions. And a scorpion is one of a meerkat's favorite treats. So a scorpion that could sting me and kill me would not be able to kill one of these guys. It would feel like an annoying bee sting to them. They can still get really sick from a neurotoxin, but they are more resistant than most other animals. So these guys, besides scorpions as being one of their favorite treats, they will also eat reptile eggs. They will eat millipedes. They will eat anything that they can find. We kind of call them opportunistic eaters. They live out in the Kalahari and Namib Desert. It is a vegetative desert, but there still isn't a lot of options out there. So their teeth, you might be able to see on some of our meerkats, kind of poke through. Their teeth are meant for piercing through that hard outer layer of a scorpion or some kind of insect rather than tearing apart meat. So Sophia asked, do they have good vision? They have great vision for distances. So they're able to see really well from really far away. And that's how we're able to that's why it can be so difficult to study meerkats, because they're going to see us way before we see them. But up close, meerkats do not have good vision, and they rely more on their sense of touch and their sense of smell for things that are really close to them. That's why we don't put our hands near the meerkats, because my fingers could look like really tasty worms to them. And Capone, who's hanging out right here, he's going to figure that out by trying to bite me. But right now, he's busy doing sentry duty. So again, right here we have Capone, and he is 9 years old. He has 2 brothers who were born here at the Houston Zoo on August 5th in 2010. Johnny Tightlips, who just dug into a tunnel, and Gambino over there. And then we have our females, Kit's hanging out in the shade right now. And then we have Dottie, who's with Gambino, and that's May, who's with Gambino, and Dottie's running around over there. So these guys all have pretty individual features. You just got to get a good look at their faces to be able to tell them apart. So Capone, you might be able to hear he is making soft vocalizations right now, or you might be able to see his chest move. The vocalizations that he's making are going to be able to tell the other meerkats, hey, it's safe to look for food, it's safe to take a nap, it's safe to play, because there's nothing in the area. When he starts to bark, that means that there's a predator in the area. When it becomes a louder bark, that means that's immediate danger and they need to run to a bolt hole, which again are found all over the territories. Bolt holes are different than sleeping burrows because they're a lot smaller. They're only found around the territory so that they can hide. They're about 40 meters apart in a meerkat territory, and they have 1 to 4 entrances. So when they see a predator, they'll go and they'll try to run off into those bolt holes. If they're not able to do that, you might notice the different patterns on the backs of our meerkats. Those patterns also help them blend into their environment. So that way, if they can't get it to a bolt hole, they're able to flatten themselves on the ground and blend into the dirt, just so a predator isn't able to see them. These guys also have different colors or colorations based off where they're found. And they're kind of around South Africa, Botswana, Angola. So if they're found along the coast, they're going to be more of a darker brown. If they're found in the Kalahari, they're going to have more of that reddish color with a yellow belly. And if they're found more towards Angola, they're going to have more of a silvery color to it. And that depends on the vegetation, so that way they can blend into their environment. So Brian asked, How can you tell the boys and the girls apart? There is really no difference. Our vets were able to tell us which ones were the boys and which ones were the girls. Sometimes the boys get a larger head with the muscle that they have, but there's really no difference in height, weight, or anything that can really distinguish it, except we know our alpha female is going to have pups. So these guys, when they run around the Kalahari Desert, they, like I said, their kind of territory can be 4 kilometers to 12 kilometers. So they're doing a lot of running around. When they do that, they can get kind of this sticky substance on it from the Kalahari grass, as well as mud and dirt that sticks to them. When that mud and dirt sticks to their body, and when that kind of sticky secretion from the grass sticks to their body, they get seeds and pollen that sticks to them as well, which makes these guys pollinators of the Kalahari and Namib Desert. Here, that's one of our Take Action initiatives. These kind of pollinators, and what you guys can do at home is plant your own pollinator gardens. It kind of gives you a project to do while we're all kind of spending more time at home. So Melissa asked, are they related to prairie dogs? That's a good question. I do not think so. So their closest relative is going to be the mongoose, and then they're also related to civets and genets. And then Camilla asked, can they handle cold weather? Yes, so in their kind of desert habitat, it can get down to 0 degrees there. There can still be ice on the ground. So these guys, you can kind of see their longer fur on them. So in the mornings, when it's a little chilly, they'll puff up, and their fur acts like a blanket on their bodies and helps to keep their bodies warm. They also do what we have termed here a cuddle puddle. That is when all meerkats cuddle together. The most vulnerable, the younger meerkats, will be in the middle of the cuddle puddle to keep them warm. Do they make good pets? That is an excellent question. They do not. While they are really cute and they kind of like us, the only thing we have is a positive association. So we have a positive relationship with our meerkats, but it's not the kind of relationship you would have with a cat and dog. These guys still kind of get afraid of us, and they still want to run away. They also bite, and they smell really bad. They will scent mark everything in your house. They will dig everything in your house, and they will not feel comfortable being by themselves either. Capone, you look very handsome today. So you can see those long nails. Again, they have those long nails to help them dig and also use them like toothpicks. And because a lot of their prey species that they eat can have kind of chemical defenses or stingers, it's good to be able to drag them around on the ground. So you can also see again, Dottie is doing her sentry duty right now. She's standing up. You'll hear them make their noises. We have an airplane coming over. Our Houston meerkats' greatest predator. So they're making those noises that say that there's a predator in the area. You might be able to hear their kind of soft barks. You can see that Dottie's at the top of the bolt hole. So she is taking over the job. They will come out and they will let everyone know when it's okay to kind of come out from the bolt hole that they've hidden in. They're very much on alert. You can see how she's sitting up. Their heads are moving all around. Their eyes, the way that they are on their heads, are able to see very well up above them and very well around them. And now we have one of our meerkats digging too. That's May. So you can see how her feet are kind of anchored in the back. That's to help keep her body steady while she digs so she doesn't fall backwards. So these guys can dig a lot of tunnels, and that's how bolt holes are kind of made, is because they dig a lot. They can dig their entire bodies into a tunnel in 20 seconds. That's how good they are at digging, and that's from all those adaptations that they have. Their heads are the way that they're shaped also can kind of be used like a crowbar. So when they run into a rock or something, they move it out of the way with their heads. They have that nictitating membrane to help keep their eyes clear. Those long shovel-like nails. They also have those narrow shoulders to help them squeeze into those tiny tunnels there. And they have those wider back feet and those wider hips to help keep their body balanced. So meerkats are also kind of an aggressive species towards each other. While they look out for each other in their own mobs, they can go to war with other meerkats in different mobs. So that tends to be what happens if they cross each other. They mostly don't want to fight. They try to intimidate one another. So how they intimidate another meerkat or any other predator in the area is they're going to put their tails up, they're going to puff out their chest, and they're going to do a war dance where they hike up their back legs and they will scratch at the ground. And that's to try to intimidate other meerkats to kind of stay away. It's the alpha male's job to scent mark and make sure their territory smells like them. So that's kind of his job, while the alpha female, her job is to have pups and also to make sure to know where they're going. And she usually will give birth in the same burrow that she herself was born in. So the burrows, as I may have mentioned before, are pretty big. There's one that is up to 320 feet. And they can also share that with other animals like mongoose, bat-eared foxes, and aardvarks. So thank you guys for joining me today and learning more about our meerkats. They are one of my favorite animals. So if you guys want to know how else to help the Houston Zoo, please visit our website and you can donate to the emergency fund. And you can also join us tomorrow at 11 to learn more about another animal here at the zoo. Thank you guys.